Alrighty, so I guess I've finally done enough work on this thing to justify doing a video on it. Here we have a 66 or 67, I think, Sears Custom 6. These are sort of like the customs that you guys are used to, except they have a Peerless 2300 4-speed. Notice no high-low, and it's got the funky shift pattern. You can't read with the 2-1. You'll recognize that from a lot of garden tractors from back in the day. They used all these transmissions. Speaking of that transmission, the one I got with it was locked up, just full of rust. It's right there. You'll notice the actual tubes are off of it. The Sears transmission is mounted offset to the side of the frame to give room for the belt on this side of the frame. And since it's offset, there's different length axles. There's a long right axle and a short left axle, and I had to swap those onto one of my other 2300s I have around, like that one, and there's like 2 or 3 more around here somewhere that I got. Fozzie locked it, new axles, and it's good. It shifts pretty okay. I've got like hydraulic oil in it that I have like 500 gallons of, and it might it might not eat itself with that thin oil. We'll see. Under the hood, we've got a 301 Predator that's... Oh god, I'm never gonna get this thing open. Got a 301 Predator. I've just got it set in here right now. I was making the belt system. I've got 80,000 smacked off of that head. And what, a 16 thousandths copper head gasket. So that's like... 80 plus another 130, like 115 or 120 thousandths closer. It probably gonna bump the compression up pretty good. I might have to go back to a stock head gasket, get it down somewhere reasonable. Governor's pulled out, all the usual stuff. I'll probably wind up boring out the carb, having to jet it, whatnot. My original plan was to run that 390. Not gonna fit in there. Would absolutely not fit. I mean, you can see where this one is, and I had to cut the steering plate and everything in there. You can't hardly even see it, but I had to cut the steering plate to get this engine that far back. And there was also a battery fuel tank tray here that had to go. So yeah, the 301 absolutely is like the biggest you could fit in here without cutting the grill or getting a longer hood from like a Sears Suburban 12. Just tonight I finished up the clutch. You can see here, before I flip it over, I'll show you the clutch pivot. It's welded in here. It's got bushings on either side of it. There's the front side of the double pulley clutch. Running a 6.5 to 4.5, I think, pulley swap. I wanted 7 to 5, but I had these pulleys and it came out to about the same ratio. So, alrighty, we got it flipped over here. Like I said before, double pulley clutch I made. You can see the pivot for it there. It's right against the side of the frame. Got the linkage for it here. This is mostly the original linkage. I just added these pieces with the Heim joints on the end of it. We like Heim joints. They don't wear out holes. Works pretty good. See the clutch pedal up there. Pretty nice. These pulleys are some sort of BMW idler pulleys. I don't know. I found them for like $4, $5 a piece on eBay. Couldn't turn them down. They should do pretty good. Got big old bearings in them. Yeah. Funky steering on these customs. Has the fan gear more like a wheel horse. Comes up here. Runs a single drag link over to one and then a tie rod to the other. And what's weird about these particular customs is this rod, the steering shaft rod that runs through here, is the front axle pivot rod, which kind of sucks, and I'm probably going to do away with this eventually, but it's good enough for now. I'm honestly planning on running this thing on stock tires. With a lock diff, it should do pretty good. A little bitty brake drum there. Pretty sure that's some sort of asbestos brake lining. Probably going to try to not inhale that. I don't know why you would anyway, but you know. You see my pulley there. Snapper deck drive pulley, or deck spindle pulley, I guess. Yeah. That belt is right against that frame. Pretty good. The pulleys aren't like perfectly in line or nothing, but I don't like care, and the V belt won't care, so it'll be all right. Yeah, not really much else to say about this thing right now that I can think of. Weight on valve springs for the Predator, and just want to throw the engine together and get some belt guides on it. Obviously, these automotive pulleys, you can slip off the side, so you got to put a belt guard over it. I'll probably do something to keep these two separated as well. Don't want it rubbing in the middle. Different stuff like that. Need guards on these pulleys. I might get away without a guard on this pulley, but need a guard up there on the V pulley definitely. And then obviously some sort of wrap on the engine, and then something on the transmission. I haven't quite figured out what that's going to be yet. But yeah, it's a thing.